Hi, Greg Mitchell here. Thanks for joining us again in this series of videos as we introduce you to our exclusive 8 Elements to Success Through People model. Keep in mind as you watch the videos that the Success Through People model is all about helping you manage people in your business in a way that drives real results. Better products and services, improved culture, higher levels of staff engagement, higher productivity and profitability. In today's video, we'll take a look at one of the critical elements of success through people, effective leadership. Okay, so let's talk about effective leadership. Effective leadership, together with clear vision and strategy, are what I call the do not pass go, do not collect $200 elements of the model. Now, what I mean by that is that if you don't have a clear vision and strategy driven by effective leadership within your business, your chances of achieving success through people are somewhat limited. So they're critically important. And there's plenty of research to support the claim that effective leadership is critically important. Indeed, many of you have probably heard the old expression that people don't leave jobs, they leave their bosses. Well, research by Harvard Business School revealed that 37% of respondents said that they'd left a previous job because of what they thought was poor leadership. Further research by Human Synergistics Australia reports that those leaders that are seen as having the most constructive leadership styles are 34% more effective in their roles than their counterparts. Not only that, but they are seen to have 43% more positive work relationships with others. So 34%, 43%, 37%, they're all pretty big numbers, and they give a pretty good sense of why you need to be thinking about leadership within your business. Okay, so we know it's important, but just what does it take to be an effective leader? A really simple but valuable exercise that I find works quite well is to sit down with a blank piece of paper, put a line down the centre so that you've got 2 columns, one on the left-hand side, one on the right-hand side. On the left-hand side, just spend a few minutes thinking about the most effective leader that you've had or an effective leader that you're aware of. So it could have been a sports coach, a teacher, it could have been a leader or a mentor that you had in the workplace, or even somebody that you know of and admire, even a politician or something like that. So think about those attributes, those behaviours that they had that in your view help them to be a really effective leader. Okay, so once you've done that, on the right-hand side of the page, think about those people that you've been exposed to or that you're aware of that you regard as a poor leader, a less effective leader, a less constructive leader. Write down the behaviours, the attributes, the qualities that you see in them that lead you to that conclusion. Now take a step back and review your lists. Chances are you'll have a mixture of what I call task-focused and people-focused behaviours and attributes. The most constructive, the most effective leaders get a good balance between task focus and people focus. They're able to be decisive when they need to be. They're competent. They know their roles. They know the roles of the people under them. And they exercise real leadership. They set high expectations. They set goals. They're good planners. They're good organisers. So they get the task stuff right. They get stuff done. Not only that, but they get stuff done in a way that brings people with them. They're good coaches, they're mentors. They understand what makes people tick. They give recognition. They value the contribution of others. They're consultative, collaborative, but again, decisive when they need to be. So they get a good balance between those task-focused attributes and people-focused attributes. Okay, so I encourage you to reflect on your list and think about it within the context of your own business. If I were to come in there and ask people that are led by you what sort of qualities, attributes they would describe that they see in you, would they be choosing things from the left-hand column, or would they identify a few things from the right-hand column? What does that mean in terms of your impact on the business? What can you learn from that exercise, and how can you become an even more effective leader to drive that clear vision and strategy in your business? If you're in a business where you're relying on mid-level management to impart expectations and hold people accountable, think about their leadership competency. Have they got the skills, the qualities, the attributes that they need to drive success in your business? I also like to think about leadership from another perspective. So you've got the individual perspective. Individually, we need to be as effective a leader as we can possibly be. But collectively, we also need to be effective leaders. So collectively, how does the leadership work within your business? Are there opportunities to improve that so that you're presenting yourself to your team as a cohesive, consistent leadership team? Okay, so we're getting some insight into what makes an effective leader, and I've also encouraged you to start to think about what that means in the context of your own business. So if you've decided that, well, yeah, maybe it's something that we do need to look at within the business a bit more closely, here's a few tips to get you started. First of all, consider opportunities for giving people, leaders and managers within your business, feedback on their leadership and management style. There's some really good diagnostic tools out there at the moment. Everything DISC, management profiles and work of leaders and so on are really good tools. Another tool that I recommend is the Human Synergistics Lifestyles Inventory. So they're great tools, provide a real structure for getting some leadership management feedback. So I'd consider using those opportunities for yourself and others in your leadership team. Another way to do it is to just develop a simple metric. So think about those qualities, those attributes, those behaviours that you'd like to see in your managers. Put them across the top of the page. Down the left-hand column, put the names of your managers and leaders, and then use that metrics to assess their current competency and capability. Where are the gaps? What are you going to do to remedy those gaps? Another possible tip to help you think about effective leadership in your business is to actually put it on the agenda for your next management team meeting. Just have a bit of a discussion about leadership, what it means to each of the participants within your management team, how you think it's currently performing in the context of the business, what are the opportunities to improve leadership individually and or collectively to drive results in your business. Open the discussion, get your management team involved. Whatever you do, I encourage you to do something. Effective leadership is a critical driver of culture and performance in your business. As I say, it's one of our do not pass go, do not collect $200 items. If you don't have clear vision and strategy driven by effective leadership, it's going to be very difficult for you to achieve success through people in your business. Thanks for joining us. I hope that's given you some helpful food for thought in terms of effective leadership and what it means within the context of your business. If you need any help or support, please check out our website or give us a call. We'd love to hear from you.